Next from Springfield, we talked to Gail Spreen, a Chicago realtor, about issues affecting property taxes and ownership. This runs about 10 minutes.
Gail Spreen, thanks for joining us on the Illinois Channel. And you are one of many realtors, I would say, who are visiting the state capitol today, talking with lawmakers. What are some of the primary issues that you would want them to know?
Well, we do have about 800 realtors that are here today at the state capitol, which is a great representation for how many realtors really care about the industry and making sure to protect property rights throughout the state. So one of our main issues that we have, that we are really kind of defending today, is to oppose rental controls. It is something that we feel would hurt the real estate industry and would just put such a negative impact on development. And actually, it counters the actual effects that they try to impose when they put a rental control in place. And by that, I mean that when you put a rental control in place, then it caps what you can actually charge for the rental, and yet your expenses go up, your taxes go up, and so landlords at that point, they decide, you know what, I don't want to be a landlord anymore. So they end up either selling their property, converting it to condos, office space, or just getting out of being landlords. So it actually reduces the inventory of affordable housing that exists. So it's counterintuitive on the actual impact that it has when you do put these rental controls in place.
I was going to say, it would seem to me as well that if you're, I'll use a number, whether it's accurate or not, let's say the average rent is $1,200 and they cap it at that. As you say, over the years, costs go up. So the profit of owning the building goes down, which would diminish the market value of that building. And therefore, when you're getting an assessed valuation, you're going to be getting less in property taxes conceivably because the value of these properties go down.
Conceivably, that your value goes down and that you would think that your taxes would go down. However, we have not seen really where our taxes ever really go down. So it would be, that would be a benefit, but we don't, propose that would actually be something that would happen. We believe that the market should actually be able to work. And there's a lot of inventory that's out there. There's thousands and thousands of new rental units that are being delivered to the marketplace in the next few years. So as this additional inventory
in Chicago, you're talking
in Chicago specifically.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but what accounts for that? I'm surprised to hear that. What accounts for the new rental coming into the market in a city like Chicago?
Well, there's a great demand to live downtown in an urban environment. So that is bringing a lot of people wanting to move downtown. In the past, there's been many of the younger people in particular have not been able to purchase because they haven't had the down payment, available. They have a lot of student loan debt, and so they have become renters, and it's filled our rental buildings. And since even on the developer side, developers have not been able to, after the big construction lenders have gotten burned on the condo market like 10 years ago, the big lenders are still shy of doing large condo projects. However, they're very much about financing rental projects because these income streams for the rents that are being charged are very strong. And so actually one thing we're seeing is that buildings are worth more as a rental property than actually as a condominium property. One thing that we're seeing now that we have never seen in the past is deconversions. So in the past, developers would buy rental buildings and convert them to condos. Now, because of the rents that we do have, the developers are buying condo buildings and they will deconvert them into an apartment building. And granted, the rents at this point are starting to flatten out, and with all this additional inventory coming in, it really feels like the rents will stay somewhat flat these next number of years. So with that, putting some inflicted rental controls in the marketplace is not really we don't feel is really going to be a necessary action, that the market will work and will actually control that itself.
And your point would be, by saying let the market work, that if the landlords raise rents so high that their units sit vacant because people can't afford the rents, then they're going to have to lower their rents to back to where someone can afford to live there.
Absolutely. Renters will treat, they will react to the market with their feet. They're much more willing to move, and they're much more mobile than if you actually own a property. So their rents go up. It doesn't even have to go up that much, and they'll be moving off to another property, another apartment. So they stay very mobile. So with that, you have to stay competitive with your rental rates and the concessions you're offering. You've got to make your buildings look very nice. You've got to offer a lot to keep your renters actually, continuing to rent.
I'm just curious, and not to get in too much detail, but what is a typical rent in the downtown Chicago area? And is it typical for the landlord up there to be paying utilities, or is that a la carte?
A typical rent for even a one-bedroom in the downtown, like River North, Streeterville, Gold Coast, even South Loop, it could range. In an older building, it could be $1,700 a month. In a newer building, probably $2,500 a month. So there's quite a range there. And usually, if you're renting in a condo building, most of your utilities, your internet, your cable are all included, and you just have an electric bill. However, if you're in an apartment building, in a rental managed building, then a lot of times the management will charge you a utility fee on top of the rent. And usually the rental buildings, the big apartment buildings, will be able to charge more for rents than condos do. So that is a bit, if you're looking for a reduced rent, you go to the condo market a little bit more because you get more for your money in the condo world than you actually do in the apartments, because they can charge a higher price. But then again, they have a lot more amenities. They're offering coffee and newspapers, in the mornings to their residents. They do a lot of special things for their residents just to keep their residents happy.
And before we let you go, as you look at just the real estate market, how strong is it, and what directions do you see it going? We're having the Federal Reserve now slowly increasing interest rates, so we might look to that as a rising cost of buying. What are some of the trends that you see in the real estate world?
Well, one exciting trend that I feel like I haven't really seen for almost 10 years is the first-time homebuyer market is actually coming back. And that, and I think a number of the younger people have been staying in their parents' basements or at home, saved up some money, and they are now out and looking at buying property. So every time I see a person that is going from rental to home ownership, I congratulate them on making that decision. So it is the first time, and I've seen so much of it. I can't even explain how many people. In a lot of the showings I do, I bet you it's probably 40 to 50% of the showings are actually first-time home buyers, which is really fascinating. And it's great to see them feeling comfortable enough with the market and with their jobs and the stability to say, you know what, I want to invest now, and I want to take it, I really want to settle down and to buy a property. So it's really nice to see. And I think the tick up on the interest rates is helping a little bit, because they want to get in before they see any kind of, additional
They hear the
interest.
clock ticking. Right?
Exactly. So I think that has helped a bit too.
And then lastly, I'm curious, we hear so many people in the suburbs, and of course there's a lot of baby boomers who are looking to downsize. Do you see baby boomers moving into the city, selling their suburban homes and maybe not wanting to have a lawn anymore, and all that time that goes with taking care of a yard?
We see a lot of that, and a lot of the baby boomers, they come downtown and they want to have a place downtown, but they also want to have a place somewhere else. So either Florida, the East Coast, Arizona, or somewhere. So we'll see them, want to be in a condo so that they don't have to worry about their property, because they'll have management there, and so they'll have a place that's easily managed, and they won't have to worry about. And it's just such a different lifestyle. They enjoy the fact that they can walk out the door, that they don't use their cars anymore. They walk everywhere, so it's extremely different lifestyle. They go to the movies, they go to restaurants, they just enjoy being out at the lakefront, and they just had to walk a few blocks to get there. So it's really kind of neat to see them. They're so excited when they move downtown because it's just so different than jumping in your car every time you want to go to the store. We walk across the street to get to our grocery store. So it's a very easy lifestyle.
Gail Spreen, thank you for joining us.
Oh, well, thank you.